Okay, one more news article telling us all what we knew in 2020 and weren't allowed to talk about in 2020, namely the side effects of the safe and effective medicine. So, almost 14,000 in the UK seek compensation, saying COVID vaccines left them disabled. Payments have been awarded for conditions including stroke, heart attack, blood clots, inflammation of the spinal cord, and facial paralysis, none of which we were allowed to talk about, well, or have been allowed to talk about for the last 3 years, or maybe even 4 years. So nearly 14,000 people in Britain have applied for payments from the government for alleged harm caused by COVID vaccines, new figures show. Freedom of information requests made by the Telegraph show that payments have already been awarded for conditions including stroke, that's where one half of the brain shuts down, heart attack, obviously they're very often fatal, dangerous blood clots, inflammation of the spinal cord, excessive swelling of the vaccinated limb, and facial paralysis. That's where one half of your face stops working. Around 97% of claims awarded relate to the AstraZeneca jab, with just a handful of payments for damage from Pfizer or Moderna. So we're only talking about payments for damage. That doesn't necessarily mean that Pfizer or Moderna are safe or effective. Since the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme was founded in 1979, the year of my birth, it has had around 16,000 applications, 14,000 from these guys, but 16,000 applications. But the COVID jab has made up the vast majority of the claims, 14,000 from the COVID jabs and another 2,000 for other jabs from 1979. That's interesting, isn't it, that statistic? Seb Sanders, the British champion flat race jockey, has been fighting on behalf of his wife, Leona, who was left hospital bound after 3 COVID jabs, but their claim was rejected. Mrs. Sanders, 52, who suffered from the rare autoimmune disorder granulomatosis, which causes inflammation of the blood vessels, was told the jab would not interfere with her condition and, if anything, would be ineffective because of her impaired immune system. She had her first AstraZeneca jab in February 2021, followed by a booster in April. It was only a day or two after that she collapsed in the bathroom. Her left leg had given way, but we weren't blaming the injection. Why not? Because nobody had warned us. Well, nobody was allowed to warn you. That's what I've noticed. I wasn't allowed to warn anybody anyway. So we never put 2 and 2 together. Well, what a shame. What a shame that so many people on YouTube weren't allowed to tell everybody that this was a side effect of the drug. Yeah, we weren't allowed, were we? We were banned. We had our channels taken down. We were punished for saying blood clots and vaccines in the same sentence. Said Mr. Sanders, who is now a pundit for Sky Sports Racing. So he works in the media. So perhaps he should tell his friends in the media that we ought to be allowed to have free speech. Rapid deterioration after the 3rd jab. However, Mrs. Sanders' condition rapidly deteriorated after the 3rd vaccine. This time it was Pfizer, not AstraZeneca. In December, when paralysis started to move upwards from her feet. She was admitted to Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, where a scan revealed transverse myelitis, a swelling on the spinal cord, which is a known side effect of the vaccine. But you're probably not allowed to talk about it, because why would you be allowed to tell people about side effects of medicine? Surely that would be dangerous, right? Telling people about side effects. The condition left her unable to walk for 7 months, in spite of a brief remission in the summer of 2022. Her condition has continued to deteriorate, exacerbated by picking up COVID or COVID vaccine, and developing sepsis while in hospital. The collapses all came just days after she had the vaccine, said Mr. Sanders, but the medical assessor rejected the claim. The medical notes said she had a history of back pain and multiple falls, but the owner never complained about back pain or had falls before the jab. She was always very active, always with the horses. She never sat down. It's floored me. I don't like being made to feel like I am a liar. Yeah, I know how he feels. Mr. Sanders, a father of one from Bury St Edmunds, West Suffolk, added, before this I would have been sceptical too about vaccines causing harm. Well, I'm not sure why that is. But I go to the supermarket now and I see all the people walking around normally. They're probably the ones that didn't get vaccinated. And that's when it really hits home. It's just not right or fair. No, it isn't. I'm bringing Leona home, but the prognosis for recovery is slim. We'll take it day by day, but all of this needs looking into properly. The collapses all came just days after she had the vaccine. Despite warnings and the growing number of clotting cases. What warnings? We weren't allowed to warn anybody. We weren't allowed to talk about blood clots and vaccines, were we? The UK government continued to recommend the AstraZeneca jab, even though the vaccination had already been halted in Germany, Italy, France, Spain, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Sweden and Latvia by March 2021. Well, there were about another 10 countries that also banned the vaccine because of blood clots, but when I made a video saying precisely that, my channel was punished. Thousands of people have been turned down by medical assessors who say there is no concrete proof that the vaccine caused harm. Okay. While hundreds of others have been refused payment because they are not disabled enough. Okay, bear this in mind the next time you take a vaccine. If you're not disabled enough, you get nothing. Those who are successful receive a one-off payment of $120,000. Usually somebody dies in order to get that. Just if you're wondering, but that's what you normally need. Somebody must die usually if you're going to get that. But so far, the government has made payments in just 175 cases out of 14,000. Yeah, 175. So not many, it seems to me. Fewer than 2% of people who have applied. More than 5,500 claims have been rejected, while a further 519 were dismissed before the medical assessment. Despite nearly 1,000 people asking for their cases to be reconsidered, just 12 have been told their decision has been reversed and they will receive a payment. Okay, I don't think I can go any further. You get the message, guys.